It's basically on a silver platter right there for the taking, as the New York Rangers have a crazy cap situation right now, with multiple reports coming from New York indicating it'll be almost impossible to bring everyone back, especially if one of their star young talents, Will Cuylle, gets offer sheeted, and Montreal is in a prime position to steal a 300 hit, 20 goal winger who's only 23. We have to dive into Will Cuylle and how this could be a perfect opportunity for Montreal. But also, Jesse, we got to talk about Laval, as David Reinbacher scores his first to the playoffs, makes an insanely good defensive play as the Laval Rocket win game 1 of the conference finals, or I guess round 3 at this point, as they are looking to make their mark heading into the playoffs. Kaiden scores, Mailloux scores, a bunch of unbelievable stuff. All that coming up on this episode of Habs Digest. And why not just start with Laval, Jesse? I mean, what a win. This was a back and forth game. Rochester taking the lead, Laval taking the lead, 4-4 late, with an Oliver Kapanen goal to win. Hey, Oliver and his cousin Kasperi both scored game-winning goals on the same night, which was kind of funny. But, I mean, Jesse, as we roll these highlights, I mean, I am just in love with this Laval Rocket team. I have so many things I could say about it, but how are you feeling after watching that incredible Game 1 performance? The game that was right down to the wire, really.
A tough game, and they had no rust for this Laval Rocket team. Again, with a little bit of Rockets of their own in this one. Like, I think the first star of this game, Josh, goes to Logan Mailloux's shot.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was just absolutely nuts tonight. Like, not only was he scoring on it, but it's, tapping in, Kapanen ends up tapping it in front of the net, tapping it in right in front. He's just, and again, I love seeing that from Kapanen because he was doing that over in Europe. But we said, okay, like, this is a translatable skill. Like, this is something that's going to work on North American ice. And sure enough, it is. It's kind of nuts to see Kapanen there in the AHL having success again with just a couple minutes left, getting the winner. Like, Josh, there was just so many big takeaways. Again, Mailloux, I think we have to give a shout out to him. First off there, for me, he really kind of jumped out of the page for me. But also, like, Reinbacher, of course, scoring. But then we see that defensive play from him. But also, like, just having that composure, Josh, in the offensive zone, which for me is, like, the almost, like, biggest comforting fact in, like, this whole win is, like, for sure getting on the score sheet, but also just showing, like, how he can kind of help operate the offense within, okay, you win the face-off in the offensive zone, and he's just there, cool as a cucumber, controlling the puck, patrolling the blue line there, looking dangerous, and really making things happen. So, I mean, also have to shout out our boy Beck. Like, so many players played good tonight. Like, even Sean Farrell, he's showing, like, that kind of star potential that we saw in the NCAA, which completely dissipated. But now we're starting to see, like, okay, that's the skill. Like, that's why he was having success before, right? We have the vets, like, everybody contributing in a very, very big win here.
Yeah, massive. Like, and again, one thing that I take away from this, even if it's not like all these players, Mailloux having a 2-point game, Reinbacher playing phenomenally, Xhekaj, Paris, like, it's these veterans. Like, we talk so much about how the young guys are the future, and it's absolutely true. But Laval is one of the youngest AHL teams, and when we talk about these AHL signings, like whether it was Barry Boulet last year, keeping Laurent Dauphin around, this kind of stuff, it's like, because he went through a couple organizations, he was with Habs and went to Arizona, anyway, came back. Like, these kind of acquisitions matter so much because playoffs in the AHL, yeah, it's maybe not NHL level, but the intensity level still rises a bunch. The pressure rises a bunch. And to get these guys playoff experience this early, it's in large part due to the veterans like Barry Boulet and Dauphin, who were unbelievable this season. Of course, the goaltending was great too, but bringing in Connor Hughes, these kind of little acquisitions, helping these guys get this extra postseason experience is so big to me. And Jesse, one thing I'm learning too, I mean, just maybe one final quick note on Reinbacher. We could talk about so many guys. Like, legitimately, the dude has destroyed his knee a couple of times, and he comes back and still looks like one of their better players night in, night out. I mean, I know you already kind of mentioned it, but like, I just love watching David Reinbacher play. He feels so smooth, and every single day that goes by, Jesse, I truly feel like this guy's going to be a huge impact player in Montreal. Honestly, I'm thinking at this point, just next season.
Yeah, and not even the vets showing up, but Reinbacher, like, showing up in a big game here in the playoffs, again, coming over from Europe on that North American ice. Like, all of this stuff really happens, and it's from the guys that you want to see have success. Because, I mean, let's face it, like, playoffs is one of the biggest indicators, in terms of kind of having that success. You had to feel like, a big part of Reinbacher's goal, though, in the first place, is players like Owen, Beck that are driving the puck to the net. playing that old-fashioned type of playoff hockey where then, okay, it's a little bit of a scramble and then you can capitalize and really get a goal from there. So again, just that amazing work. Again, like Owen Beck showing up, being a playmaker, making stuff happen is all very positive signs as well for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, Owen Beck's forecheck too. Like, I mean, like that play, like you said, not even just the playmaking, but his effort every single time. That time it worked. He got the nice steal, but like he's been so good. So many aspects. Even Joshua Waugh got a point. So great. Leave your thoughts on Laval down below. Cannot wait for how this is going to help the Habs in the future. But look, we're talking about the future of the Habs, Jesse. We're back to off-season talk now, and there's a lot of names that have been circling around, and we know RFAs this year, they're under more of a microscope than I think ever because of the offer sheets that worked out for St. Louis last year. I've always asked myself, Jesse, why don't we see more offer sheets? Why don't we? Because it's like, I mean, look, it happens in the NBA, it happens in other sports. Of course, hockey has this compensation thing as well, but like, I always figured if you feel someone's worth it, Montreal did try it, of course, with Sebastian Aho. It didn't work, but like, why not go after them? And there's one name. Now, I want to give a shout out to Rangers Digest as well, Darius. So we asked him about this question, like, hey, there's a certain RFA on your team. What do you think about him? And it's Will Cuylle. And Will Cuylle, actually, let me show you his stats first. You guys probably recognize him because when we played the Rangers this year, we sung his praises. He had 301 hits this year, played 82 games. He was on near point per game pace back in December. Slowed down as the year went on because Peter Laviolette stuck him on the third line. 20-goal season, Jesse. Rangers fans seem to think he's a future 60, 70-point player who's 6'3", 23 years old. And he's an RFA this year. Now, this is courtesy of Scotia Stat. They project him for a 4-year, $4 million deal. But with the new RFA tiers, Jesse, these offer sheet tiers, you could offer Will Cuylle a $6 or $7 million contract for 6 or 7 years. The Rangers would be hard-pressed to match that because they need to pay K'Andre Miller. They have a few other guys. They have Panarin, who's still on the books for next year. I know it would be a big risk for Montreal to go give him a $6.5, $7 million deal, but Rangers fans are saying that might just be enough to pry him away from New York, and New York not to respond to it. And with that bracket now, it's just a first and a third round pick. That's it. Like up to $7 million. I don't know, Jesse. I like Will Cuylle as a player. I think it would be a risk. But when I look at all these RFA players that you could potentially offer sheet, not that Montreal necessarily would. I know there's Jeff Gorton with the Rangers. There's some stuff there, but like, he jumps out to me as one of these guys who's on a team with a rough cap situation and genuinely looks like he could live up to a bigger contract than he's worth.
I feel like this could be like a situation where like Kent Hughes is like, this is the type of profile that he likes to go for, of a little bit kind of bet low and then this high reward. But then Jeff Gordon's going to come in and say, no, we need somebody a little bit more kind of established there. Again, like only 21 points in 2024, but the potential is there. And that's why it's a very interesting call when it comes to this player. We see those great, even like from this season, right, where he's having that great success. But then that's great, but then it kind of dissipating. That's also a little bit of a red flag there as well. That being said, it's like Canadians said that they want to get a little bit bigger. They want to have that type of player playing physically, playing energy type of hockey. Even if you're not on the scoreboard, as we know with Josh Anderson, that's still stuff that is very effective. For me, Josh, though, I'm going to have to pass because for me, it's like, even if there's only so many of these longer term contracts, like a great young player, that is great. But with that also comes those long-term contracts. And there's kind of, if they pan out and then you're kind of stuck with it, even if they don't really pan out. So if he was a center and I'm thinking, okay, this kind of fits what we need, but because it's not the exact position that we need, I feel with like those longer term deals, if we could get something shorter, like that would definitely make a lot more sense. But with like only so many longer term deals, I feel like Kent Hughes is going to be very careful about how he's doling them out in the future.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. This is not a careful move. This is a move, though, that is high risk, high reward. And I see Will Cuylle personally, and I think Rangers fans do too, as like one of these guys who's primed for a breakout like a Dylan Holloway, right? And I mean, Jesse, we were talking about Dylan Holloway as a trade target before he signed that offer sheet in St. Louis, and he blew up this year, having an incredible season. I do agree with you, though. Will Cuylle is not a center. He doesn't play center at all. He plays wing, but he is big. He is physical. He brings the aspects that the Montreal Canadiens are looking for, and to me, he projects as a second-line player or at a very, very good third-line player if you can put some good players around him. Again, playing a good chunk of the season on the third line, playing only 15 minutes a game, scoring 20 goals, having 45 points. I mean, the similar production to Slafkovsky. These are 3 years older, of course, with a lot more hits, that physical edge. And you see the comparable contracts, all bridge deals. The Rangers would love to, but he's one of these prime targets. Look, I gotta ask you guys, is he the kind of guy that you would go after? He makes an impact every time he's on the ice, but he doesn't necessarily fit that center role. I don't know. One of those guys that's high risk, high reward. He's on a silver platter for some team to take a swing. The question is, will that team be Montreal? Leave your thoughts down below, because that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, guys. Thank you so much for showing up every single day. We got you all off season long. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. We'll catch you in the next one.